What is up, YouTube? HPJ here. Sorry about all the moving, because I'm trying to make sure that everything is together. Today we have a modern deck profile for you guys, and that is in the form of the lovely Sky Strikers. So as we all know, Sky Strikers did get a major buff from the recent Forbidden Limited list, and that is, of course, the unlimiting of Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. So a lot of Sky Striker fans are very excited about this because, of course, Ray is now, the whole Sky Striker army is at full strength, and there are a lot of cards that definitely power up the Sky Striker engine. So just a fair warning, I don't have all the Sky Striker cards because I'm missing a lot in the extra deck. So yeah, I don't have all the new Sky Striker monsters for the extra deck. I think only particularly because I'm only running to involve myself with one Sky Striker extra deck monster, while the other one is not out yet. She won't be out till the summer. So yeah, that is Sky Striker Aces in that nutshell. So when we go ahead and we go into the deck profile. So starting off with the monsters, I'm running 3 copies of the star of the show herself, Miss Sky Striker Ace Ray. Then 1 copy of Sky Striker Ace Rose. Then 3 copies of Ash Blossom Enjoy the Spring, followed by 3 copies of Effect Veiler. So that is it for all of the for all the monsters. And that's literally all of the monsters. That's a total of what? 10 monsters? Alright, then let's go into the spells. So we're going to start off with the Sky Striker portion. We have triple copies of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, 3 copies of Sky Striker Mobilize Linkage, and 3 copies of Sky Striker Mech Widow Anchor. Then we have 2 copies of Sky Striker Mech Shark Cannon, Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburner, Sky Striker Mech Moldy's multi-roll, then 1 copy of Area Zero, 1 copy of Hornet Drone, and that is it for all the Sky Striker spells. Moving on from the non-Sky Striker spells, we have 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Harpie Spellcaster, 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Reinforcement Argument, and 1 Change of Heart. Alright, that is it for all of the spells. And then for all of the trap cards, which is a seemingly whopping number of 3, I am running 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence. Alright, that is it for the main deck. That is a total of 40 cards. Then for the extra deck, I'm running 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. Then 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Kagari. I want to make sure this is angled right. Yes, it is. 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Hayate. 2 copies of Zeki. 1 copy of Kina. 1 Unicorn. 1 Celine, the Queen of Aston Editions, and 1 Typologic Bomber Dragon. So as you know, I don't have I don't own the new Sky Striker Ace extra deck monsters. I don't own what's that guy? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Access Code Talker, who is supposed to be here, but yeah, I don't own Access Code Talker. And then the other card I think I probably would put in here is one of the Charmers, if not maybe 2 or 3 of them. But that depends on which ones it is, because the Charmers can be utilized extremely well when it comes to Sky Striker. So when we go ahead and we go through this. So starting off with the monsters is, of course, the 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray. Ray is an amazing card. She is the engine starter of this deck. You would kind of say, well, what about Rose? Rose is more so just a collateral piece to the deck because she is a warrior. She's a Sky Striker Ace monster, and if you at least draw into her, the only thing that you really lack of is having Ray in the graveyard to bring herself back. Because Ray's ability is, of course, once a turn, when a Sky Striker Ace card is, when a Sky Striker monster is removed from the field, you can just summon her to the field. I think it has to be the Link monster, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so a Sky Striker Ace Link monster leaves the field, you just summon her from the grave, but it's a once per turn effect. The thing about it is that you're basically just using Ray to go into the other Sky Strikers when it's needed. Each of them have a different ability and different tactic to them that does help progress the game in your favor, and utilizing their unique abilities to do such. Rose, for the most part, is just an easy special summon because she can special summon herself When a Sky Striker Ace monster is special summoned, other than a copy of herself, outside of the damage step. She has the ability, I believe, to negate a card's effect. As well, and it just basically you're just using her for the name. I don't think we've ever actually used Rose for her actual abilities, except for just special summon. So that's it for the both of them. The hand traps of choice are Ash Blossom, Joyous Rings, and Effect Veiler. So Ash basically just to stop the cards from searching cards from the deck, sending cards from the deck to the grave, and being able to search summon from the deck. While Veiler is here to negate monster effects. There is a lot of things that correspond with Infinity Impermanence when you run Veiler, because if you can play Veiler is going to the graveyard from the hand. Infinity Impermanence is going to be active on the field. You do have to be careful though, because if your opponent activates another card effect, you're kind of screwed unless you have another Veiler in hand, because luckily Veiler's effects aren't once per turn like some of the other newer hand traps. But you do have to be careful with Infinity, because if you play Infinity and you try to hit a monster, 9 out of 10, you're going to have to remember that you now control a card on the field, so you can't activate another Infinity. That's the only downside to that. But other than that, yeah, these are just the ones I am choosing to play. You can play Ghost Ogre. You can play Winter Cherries if you want to mess around with the extra deck. You can play Droll and Lockbird to mess up your opponent as well. There's even plays that I've seen getting out of the Droll and Lockbird. So that is it for the hand traps and the monsters themselves. Now let's get into the bulk of it. All of these nice spells. And the thing about it is that, yeah, sad face, there is no anti-spell fragrance. So the most thing that they'll have to worry about is maybe when, the Ash Forest and the White Wood cards come out, that they're going to be maining Secret Village of the Spellcaster. So you're going to have some outs to that. But for the most part, I think Sky Striker can easily handle it. If not, find some rogue strategy or builds to play around with that. Now, we're going to start off, of course, with the star of the show. This is Mobilize, Engage. If you control no monsters, which all the Sky Striker spells have this ability. If you control no monsters, you can activate the card and it has its own effect. But if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you gain an additional effect. For Engage, it's a Rhoda for any Sky Striker card except for itself from the deck and add it to the hand. If you have 3 or more cards, shuffle your deck and then draw 1 additional card. This card has been on the list for a long period of time because of how versatile this card can be. And not just Sky Striker, but in other decks that barely use their Monster Zone or want a good first turn setup into things. Because most likely you're going to go get the Hornet Drone and take advantage of that free token. Now, with that in turn, the next card up is Mobilize Linkage, and this is basically just for the OTK. Swap out a link monster to go into another link monster to power out your opponent. I believe if you have 3 or more spells in the grave, the monster on the field gains an additional 1,000 attack and defense. But you also have to have a light and a dark. That's perfectly fine, because the way this deck fleshes through its light and dark monsters, you're going to be perfectly fine with that. I believe the monsters have to be Sky Striker. Yeah, that's not too hard. Funny enough, we don't have a Sky Striker Link monster that is light yet. I believe she's coming out in the summer, and that's the one that has Ray. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. My headphones are acting particularly strange. But Ray and Rose's combination Link monster doesn't come out yet till the summer in the TCG. So that's the one that we're going to be waiting for, and definitely going to be utilizing with the abilities of linkage. If not, I think there's already a light and a dark extra deck monster, but I don't have either one of them. I think it's Azalea and Selena. Yeah. Widow Anchor for the negate effects, and then if you have 3 or more, you can easily take your opponent's monster. Funny enough, Shark Cannon is the next card up, and funny enough, I think honestly I should be running 3 Shark Cannon, but I think 2 is perfectly fine. While the Widow Anchor does more, is another option of negation. With the Shark Cannon, you can banish a monster in your opponent's graveyard. When you have 3 or more spells, you can take control. You can special summon that monster to your side of the field that you're banishing. While Widow Anchor is able to negate the effects of the opponent's monster. But if you have 3 or more spells in the grave, you can take that monster and put it and bring it to your side of the field to the end of the turn. So these are 2 cards that allow you to link climb, but also utilize your opponent's monsters for your link summons. Then we're going to move on from those. 2 copies of Afterburner just to clear out monsters. Then we have the multi-roll to not only protect our spell cards for the activation, but then also sending our cards to the graveyard to trigger off some of their abilities or fill up the grave. At the end of the turn, you can just put Sky Striker spells up to the number of spell cards you played this turn back onto the field. So that gives you some utilization for them. Just note that they get banished. And I believe, yeah, no one's running the monsters that get them back to the hand, but most of the time you don't want them in the hand, you want them in the grave. So, it very really the only downside to multi-roll is that the cards get banished, but you're basically perfectly fine with everything else if you can just utilize the board enough effect as soon as possible. I'm running 1 copy of Area Zero and 1 copy of Hornet Drone. Now that Engage is back at 3, there's no need for the multiple of the field spell, and other cards just help you provide what you need for defense and searching, as well as draw power. Well, Hornet Drone basically creates the token that you need in case you don't get to Ray or Rose, and you'll be able to play your other monsters. If you have 3 or more spells in the grave and you activate your Hornet Drone, the monster gains the same stats as Ray. Level 4 Dark Attribute Warrior type monster, 1500 attack and defense. Alright, for the non-striker spell cards, we have Forbidden Droplet to do the massive negation. Lightning Storm to clear out the board, either it's the front row or the back row. Triple Tactics Talent, in case your opponent wants to start activating monster effects and stuff during your turn. Even if you get drawn Lockbirds, you can do Confiscation, or you can do the Brain Control, the Change Your Heart ability, and take advantage of those effects for your own. Harpie's Feather Duster to clear out necessary back row. Call by the Grave to deal with graveyard effects or effects of hand traps your opponent plays on you. Reinforcement of the Army to search for your Ray or Rose. And then Change of Heart just as another additional card to take advantage of your opponent's monsters. So that is it for the spells, and then we're going to move on into the trap card, which is only one, and that is of course Infinity Impermanence. And like I said with Effect Veiler, this is another utility card that can be used during your opponent's turn while you control no cards. You can combo this with the Effect Veiler so that if Veiler can hit one thing, then the next card will come. You can hit it with the Impermanence and then lock out those zones on the field so that your opponent can't use them. It's a great option for negation, especially around this time where a lot of negation definitely is needed when we don't have it. Alright, moving on from there and going into the extra deck. Definite triple copies of Shizuku and Kagari. Kagari on her summon allows you to add any spell card from your graveyard to your hand. Shizuku at the end of the turn allows you to add a certain card from your deck to your hand, as long as there is not a copy of it in the grave, which perfectly fine because it'll allow you to get your pieces. You can even get your Widow Anchors or your Widow Anchors or your Shark Cannons. Use them on your turn, set them in the grave, activate the multi-roll, and then set them back onto the field. The additional effects of Kagari in Shizuku is that Shizuku can reduce the attack and defense of your opponent's monsters based on the number of spell cards in your graveyard times 100, while Kagari gains attack equal to the number of spell cards in your graveyard times 100. So one can easily be the Beat Stick, while the other one is Burden of the Mighty, your opponent's monsters, while being the Searcher and being the Retriever. Alright, then moving on from these lovely ladies, we got some more Striker cards. We have Hayate, we have Zeki, and we have Kaina. So Kaina is the odd one of the bunch because you really don't need Kaina, but she can be useful. Every time after the spell card activates and resolves its effect, you gain 100 life points. She's basically just here for that whole thing of when I come to the board, I'm here to help you deal with certain situations. And if not, excuse me. If not losing your time, which is what Kaina can do when she's giving you all those life points back. Zeki is just removal. Great option for that. 2 cards plus a Sky Striker monster. Not too hard to pull off. And she's your link too, so you can easily go into some of your other plays with some of your bigger monsters and you start stealing those. Hayate can attack your opponent directly and then send Sky Striker cards from your deck to the graveyard. So that way, our girl, what is it? Kagari can pick them up and easily just swap her out for the Kagari, and this is a good, which is easy ways to do things. But yeah, 2, 1, 3. If I had more room for the other ones, of course, I'd probably remove some of the other monsters. Like maybe go 2 Hayate, keep the 2 Zeki, keep the Kaina, but probably drop some more extra deck monsters in that way. Not the Kagari or the she's a good, because you definitely need those. But the next one's up, maybe so. Nightmare Unicorn probably can easily be one out. It's just a discard to bounce a card back into the deck. Nothing big, nothing real fancy. Celine, the Queen of Master Magicians, because you're able to obtain her off of Effect Veiler, which isn't too hard, and bringing back monsters. You were sure cannoning for your opponent's monster. And then, of course, Tabologic Bomber German can be any rank 4 monster. I think the most optimal is the game finisher himself. Access Code Talker, because Access Code Talker banish your exceeds, blow up, destroy cards on the field, gain attack points for those exceed monsters, and then just swing at your opponent for a lot of damage. Is there any other options I can add to this? You can put the Charmers in here if you want to take advantage of of your opponent's monsters. So you can, especially with stuff like Joel and Lockbird or John Lockbird or Ash Blossom from your opponent. You can play Hita, the Flame Charmer, Ablaze, or Winnie, the Wind Charmer, Verdant. I know some of them do play Dirk, the Dark Charmer, as well, just an option for dark decks. Lena, the Light Charmer, Shining, so you can do it light cards like Effect Veiler. And Usa and them, I don't know, but as the new hand trap had just recently came out in the OCG, what is her name? Aria, the Water Charmer. She definitely is going to be seeing some play because of that. I don't believe the monster is spellcaster, but hey, it's water and she's not. So it's Aqua and she's spellcaster, so you can easily go into Sleep. So with that said and done, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was kind of a mishmash of a video. There's probably some audio that's going to be cut out, so I do apologize for that because I didn't think my headphones were going to cut out on me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video for the Sky Striker Aces. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps you out tremendously. You hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content to my channel. My social media links are in the description box below. And with that said and done, thanks everyone for watching. HTJ signing out. Take care.